Welcome everyone to Daily Tips with Monica. How you guys doing? Hello, my tipsters. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you come in. Make sure you guys. Thank you guys for. I'm sorry guys about the interruptions. We're looking for a water bottle right now. So, um, so so as I was stating, guys, thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you come in. If you want to share me out, make sure you share me out. You can share me out to all different platforms. Excuse me, guys. Um, give me a minute here. There you go. Hey Trisha. Hey Trisha. How you doing? How you doing, Trisha? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Um, if you have not hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Just allow me a moment here, guys. Um, Something that I didn't do, and now my computer screen has locked up on me. Okay, here you go, y'all. I promise you, this computer that I have, y'all just pray in the name of Jesus that I get me another one, please. And I'll talk about a MacBook. That's what I'm searching for. Is a MacBook. Um, just allow me a moment. All right, guys. So what we're talking about today, uh, if I can get this to stop. Okay. Um, hey Shar, thank you guys for coming. Wait a few more moments for some more people to enter the building before we get started. Everybody have a a good day. Did everybody have a pretty decent day today? Uh it was pretty good for me. Um what we're gonna talk about is check your privilege. This is inspired by, as you know, number 45. Um, he's he's privileged and he don't want to leave the office. So we're gonna talk about it. Just allow me a moment here. Okay, guys. So um thank you guys so much for coming. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the tips. What we're gonna talk about, like I stated, is we're going to talk about check your privilege. And let me tell you this. The first time you were told to check your privilege, be honest with yourself. You were angry and offended. And you think to yourself, my life hasn't always been easy. And you may have struggles you have dealt with, and you have been fighting uphill battles. So for someone to suggest that you were privileged, kind of like a smack in the face and unbelievable. But know that not only do you have privilege, but we all have some kind of privilege. Guys, know that we live in a society that carries a great deal of prejudice on many different levels. And this impacts the way that we are treated. And yes, Our laws and other institutions can reflect prejudice too. And as the result of those prejudice, hey Patricia, thank you for coming. Thank you, Trisha. Um, uh, and the result of those prejudices end up with advantages and disadvantages, depending on their intersecting social statuses, such as, hey, Aunt Nancy, disabilities, race, sexuality, gender, class, and many other things. And this is what checking your privilege comes from. So when someone asks you to check your privilege, what they are really saying is reflect on the advantages, on the ways that your social status might have given you an advantage, even if you didn't ask for it or earn it, while the other individual social status might have given them a disadvantage. But before I give tips on what checking your privilege is, I want to give you what checking your privilege is not. I'm going to tell you what checking. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to checking your privilege, and I'm going to tell you what it is not. Um, guys, pray for me as I get through this. Okay. Hey, Andrew Hart. The first thing is don't take it. Uh-oh. Hold on, let me fix something. Don't take it personal or an insult when someone tells you to check your privilege. So when someone tells you to check your privilege, they are not trying to insult you, because they know that that privilege is not something you asked for, but what they are asking you to do is be compassionate towards a particular struggle that they may be going through, and and they want you to acknowledge that their struggle has been different from yours, and you want to acknowledge and reflect on the ways that your lives and backgrounds are so different. Someone asking for some compassion should never be an insult to you. It should be a compliment. And if you think about it, because they look to you to rise to the occasion and that you are capable of demonstrating some empathy. Hey, blogs, thank you for coming. So don't take it when someone tells you to your check your privilege. Don't take it as an insult. Take it as someone wanting you to know that, you know what I'm going through is it you may have not have went through it, but I want you to acknowledge the fact that you haven't went through it, or you may have not have been impacted and on the same way that I've been impacted. That like, don't be so callous to where and absent minded that you can't become a compassionate person and not feel sorry for the person, but acknowledge their pain, acknowledge what they've been through. That's what they're telling you. Don't treat them as what they're saying is wrong. So when they tell you to check your privilege, don't take it as someone trying to insult you. Take it as a way of a person telling you, you know what, have a little compassion, have a little empathy for people that may have that are not going that you may have not went through the things that they have went through. And so what ends up happening is when that happens, uh, and when that happens, guys, my mods, please, if someone's in the building that I have not spoken to, welcome in. I can't see anything at this moment. I'm trying to do something. But make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Um, but don't take it personal when someone tells you to check your privilege. They're asking you to be compassionate. They're asking you to have some empathy. And don't be so insulted just because someone asks you to check your privilege. Because you may that they you may have those advantages that someone else doesn't have. Um so the next thing is um it doesn't mean that you haven't struggled. And what I mean by saying this, having privileges says nothing about whether or not you had you have had a difficult life or not. Know that you can have privilege in one aspect of your life, and in another aspect of your life, you could be struggling in that, and it could be a disadvantage to you. You may, and let's just be real. You may not know the struggle of a disabled person, or someone that may be transgender, a person or someone who has a mental illness. You may not um, know that struggle, but you may know the struggle of someone that may have lost a loved one and dealing with a loss of a loved one, or have resonate with someone that has been homeless, or a person that um, is in an abusive relationship. See, what we have to learn is privilege. You could privilege, and if you guys just not coming in, you didn't really understand what I was saying. Privilege is more than just a monetary thing. Privilege, you can be privileged to a certain lifestyle, and you can be privileged to a certain way of living, but you can also be you sometimes you're not privy to certain type of things. But what I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be a two-part series, and I'm going to tell y'all now. This first part is about what being privileged is not. And then the first thing I said was don't take it personal or as an insult when someone tells you to check your privilege. The second thing is don't mean that you haven't struggled. So know that, you know what I'm saying, everyone have different struggles. And just because someone tells you to check your privilege, does check your privilege does not mean that you haven't struggled with anything. But anyway, as I was stating, um, but checking your privileges is not about conceding that you had an easy life, but acknowledging that there are struggles that you would never encounter that are specific to a certain group of people. Always acknowledge that there are struggles we don't share doesn't invalidate the difficulties you face, but it just recognizes that those difficulties can vary based on our identities, our lives, and our experiences can be drastically different as a result. So that just because someone tells you to check your privilege doesn't mean that you haven't struggled. What they're telling you is you guys may not have went through the same thing, and everyone have a different way of dealing with something. And some people um may not be some people may have a different outcome when they dealt with something than what you have. So you can't all just say, oh, just get over it. You know, you can't say, oh, get over when someone going through something, because guess what? You ain't never went through it. So you can't tell someone to get over something if you ain't never been through it. Um, the third thing is no time to defend yourself. When someone tells you to check your privilege, That is not the time to defend yourself. And you know what I'm saying? The first reaction when someone tells you to check yourself is is the first reaction is to defend yourself. And that's just being real. And you have the right to, because no one knows your struggle the way that you do. But at that time when someone's check you to tell you to check your privilege, that is not the time to derail a conversation about someone else's challenges by inserting your challenge. That ain't what they're about. So instead of ignoring someone else's struggle, use this as an opportunity to demonstrate compassion and learn about what it is to walk in someone else's shoes for a change. Challenge yourself to be present instead of opting out. And like, I'm gonna be honest, like here in Black America, like some people like, you don't know what it is, how it feels to be a Black man. Like you have a white friend and you be like, you don't know what it feels like to be a Black man in America. You be scared to get pulled over by the cops, and you might be scared that they may shoot you. And they feel like, well, man, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? Every cop ain't bad. And nobody is saying that every cop ain't bad. No one is saying every cop is bad. But what they're saying is a Black man looks like a threat in some police officers' eyes. So when they say check your privilege, use your privilege, then you have to put yourself, like, say for instance, if I'm this Black man, what if I was Black and um I get pulled over by the police officer and I haven't done anything, but the police officer look at me as a threat, or or put it like this: if my white friend, a Black police officer, see me as a threat and automatically pulls the guns on me and take my life, how would I feel? And things like that. Say for instance, you have um you're struggling with abuse, or you're struggling with a lot of people say, I don't want to get too in depth with it, but I got a little minute. No, 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 if you scary. That was just a example, Trisha. Trisha, that was just an example. But what I'm saying is, it don't come on the defense or opt yourself out, say nothing, because when you're not saying nothing, it says a lot. When you see a friend struggling with something or telling you something about a challenge they are going through, like some, like, say for instance, a lot of people, and say when they come out that they are gay, a lot of their family turn their back on them. But what if you had a friend that came out and their family embraced them, they loved them, but then you had another friend that said, well, you know what, family, that you know what, you are a disgrace, and they done kicked you out the house and turned their back on you. How would you'll feel privileged, because guess what? My family accepted me, but their family didn't. So you're gonna get on the defense because they say check your privilege. You have to show some compassion and tell them, I'm sorry that your family didn't accept you taking ownership of who you are. If that's what you want to, what you're going through. And I'm here for you, instead of just saying, well, I'm like that and people still judge me. They're not asking you if people judging you. They're saying that their family has basically disowned them because of the lifestyle they live, and your family didn't. That's a little bit privileged. If you didn't know, now you know. The fourth thing is, it's not a time to demand to be educated. Um, Oftentimes, guys, our first impulse, instead of taking the time to do our own research, we demand a person who called us out to become our teacher. After they are called us out, right? After they called us out, right? So they should finish the job. It is great that you want to understand a person in their struggle and things like that. But when you are demanding it, it causes a problem. Help me understand you people. You know, what do you want from me? How do help me to understand? And when you what you really need to do, what you really need to do, because when you're demanding something from a person, it can make them upset, stressed, and exhausted. And especially for those people who have been oppressed to open up about their pains. So the best thing for you to do is to just educate yourself so you can understand. It's always important to be respectful and not place demands on people. Your education isn't their responsibility, it's yours. So please do not demand that someone take the time to help you instead of researching it yourself. So never demand someone to give you education about what a person is going through. No matter if it's an identity crisis, whatever. Don't demand something to help you understand why they are feeling oppressed or why they're telling you need to check your privilege. Never demand someone to educate you. Research it for yourself. Try to get your own understanding so you can meet somebody where they live at. So y'all gonna have a clear understanding. Um, I don't. I My computer's messing up, y'all. So I don't. I ain't broke. I'm sorry. Let me. I had wrote down the tips. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. This is I'm on the fourth tip. So just allow me a moment here, guys. I get to talking and I forget. Just allow me a moment. I'm so sorry. I'm just sitting up here talking. Okay. Okay. So the fourth tip was right, Trisha. People just want someone to listen, not for advice or their opinion. Right? They just want them to listen and be a listening ear. And when they ask you for their opinion, you give it. But don't demand nothing out. That's one thing about me. Don't demand nothing from me. Educate you. If it's something that someone is going through, educate yourself on it. Educate yourself on it. Okay. So guys, as I was stating, those are the daily tips. I only gave y'all 4 tips today because I don't want to hold no more than 30 minutes of your time. I know y'all be like, oh my God, Monica, we want more. So if you want more, tune in tomorrow and there'll be the last part of this check your privilege. And we're gonna get more in depth into the conversation. But I wanted to tell you guys what check your privilege is not. And that means, you know, what someone is basically trying to tell you and you're not listening to understand. You're just being offended. So the first thing I'm gonna go ahead and recap. So the first thing it is I said was don't take it personal or as an insult. When someone tells you to check your privilege, don't take it personal because you may have an advantage to where another person may not have a disadvantage. And I ain't talking about lifestyle. It could be race, gender, identity, wealth. It could be all different kind of things that people are privileged about. And see, a lot of people feel like like I always tell y'all, people, like I was saying earlier, people think that privilege is wealth. You could be privileged to different things of this world, but don't ever take it personal or as an insult. A person just wants you to have a little compassion and a little empathy and a little understanding on what they are going through, or what they, or and not take it as you coming for me. Don't take it as that. Take it as a person just saying, meet me where I'm at. See what I'm going through. And the second thing is, guys, is doesn't mean that you haven't struggled. So when someone tells you to check your privilege, it don't mean that they saying that you haven't struggled with anything. And let's just be real. People, you know what I'm saying? People that are privileged, they have different things that they struggle with. Just because they don't tell you don't mean they don't struggle with stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And people know that. The person that people know that. But what they're saying um, is that and no one is saying that well, no you know, your struggle is not greater than their struggle. But what they're saying is what they are going through, you may not be able to relate to, because you may have been not privy to that, or have went through it, or encountered a situation like that, or what they're going through. So because everybody life has, like I said, our lives and experience can be drastically different as a result. So everybody's life and everybody's experiences are drastically different, and they have different results. And that's honestly true. Um, the third thing is no time to defend yourself. When someone tells you check your privilege, this is and they feel some kind of way, that is not the time to be defensive, like someone is coming for you. Um, I understand that, like I was saying, I understand that the first thing is to be on defense. And you probably say you don't understand me. You don't understand the things that I went through, and you don't know what to understand what that the next person is going through. So don't try to insert like some people, and then just be real. You could be talking about what you're going through, and then some people, and then somebody to come and you'll be sitting there having a conversation with that person, and they talking about something totally different from what you are saying you are struggling with. They just sitting up here being on the defense and saying, well, this is what I went through, and you don't care about that. Nobody ain't telling you that. No one is telling you that, you know, what you're struggling with is wrong. But what they're telling you is this is what I'm struggling with. No, they haven't, Trisha. And you have to be a very compassionate person. And sometimes you just have to get down to where a person live at. You have to be in someone else's shoes. Don't be so defensive. Don't try to defend yourself because someone called you privileged. Because you may have not went through what that person have went through. So don't try to insert your challenge, and they ain't got nothing to do with their challenge, into the situation. Listen to understand and show some compassion. Um, the thing, last but not least, thing is not a time to demand to be educated. So you know how some people feel like, well, tell me how to do this and tell me how to do that. Educate me. Figure it out. Let's just be real. Figure it out for yourself. If you don't know, figure it out. Figure it out. Educate yourself. Don't be a butthole. Do your own research. Don't demand someone to educate you on how they feel oppressed. You should learn it on your own. And then once you learn it on your own, you'll be able to relate to him. You'll be able to be at least be try to be relatable. But don't sit up there and demand someone educate you on something that they're challenged you with or going through, and you know nothing about it, but you want them to educate you on it. That ain't happening. Okay, so guys, um, those are the daily tips I have, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Right, and there's nothing wrong with asking someone to for a little bit of advice, me help of understanding something, Trisha. But what I'm saying is, some people be trying to demand you to do something for them or demand you to tell them how something's supposed to be or why you're going through what you're going through. You can't put no demands on anyone. And if you're asking, ask to understand, not ask to in a demanding way. Feel what I'm saying? So, um, okay, so those are the tips I have, guys. This is my final thought. And I want to give you guys this. This, when it comes to privilege, it could be many different things. And some people feel as though, oh, I'm not privileged, but you'll be surprised what you are privileged in or have, what privileged things you have. And it doesn't have to be a monetary thing. Your lifestyle, it could be a lifestyle. Some people are not privy to uh, living in a ghetto, living in not the ghetto, but y'all know, like living in the projects and things like that, or being around guns and things like that. Some people are not privy to that. So some people are privileged in that way. It's so many different things that people can be privileged in. But what they're saying is, use your privilege in a good way. Be a compassionate person. Don't be a self-righteous person that you feel like somebody got to give you something because this is how my life was. So I feel like you should do what I tell you to do. Don't be that person. You see, and I'm just going to be real, you see what we're going through in the United States right now. The president of the United States right now, who has lost the election, he is so privileged that he will not concede to the election. This is how I came up with this topic, because he's privileged. He don't know how to accept the fact that he lost. He feel like he is privileged enough that he's supposed to get the White House again because he's privileged. You're never too privileged, and you teach your children that they're never too privileged to lose. You're never too privileged to lose. So, guys, those are my final thoughts. Thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure you guys check out my but before I check out my feature channel, tell you guys check out my feature channel. Um, if you guys want to come on here and say anything, what's on your heart, or on your mind, I'm always open for letting you guys give your commentary. There is the link in the chat. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming. But never think you're too privileged not to lose in life. That you can't that people won't say no. You're denied. And you just try to take what you want. That what makes you not compassionate. That what makes you a butthole. That what makes you a person that's not relatable. When you do things like that, try to force your way into something. You're not that privileged. We're all a human. And that's why I'm telling you, check your privilege. You are not too privileged to lose. You don't. Let me tell you, some people are so privileged they feel like every you they supposed to have their way, and it's just keep it real. Life don't work like that. I have never known for life to work like that. You're supposed to automatically get your way, even if it tearing other people down or walking over people. You're going to get your way because I feel like because I'm privileged, I deserve that. That ain't how life's supposed to be. And I ask you guys to never, never, never raise your children to be that way. Like they're privileged, and that life is going to give them everything that they want. You're okay, Trisha. You're okay. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that so much. I appreciate that. Um, so guys, make sure you are checking out my feature channel for the month. That is Kicking It with Lynn. Make sure you guys check out Kicking It with Lynn. She is on the road to 4K. So make sure we guys try to run her playlist or something this month to try to help her as much as possible to get to that from 4K watch hours. If let me tell you something, everybody has been in her position. The struggle do be real when you're trying to get your watch hours, and so any kind of help is much appreciated. If you guys ever want to contact me at MJ&J Family 2020 at gmail.com. It's a great way of contacting me. It's a great way of contacting me. Um, Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night for the ending discussion of Check Your Privilege. And I may do it Friday, but it's some stuff we need to discuss from CBG News Friday. So I'm gonna leave CBG News for Friday, and tomorrow we're gonna spend tomorrow doing part two of Check Your Privilege. And Check Your Privilege. The second part is gonna be about how can you do it? How can you not act so entitled and privileged? So that's all that I do have. But before I go, guys, I want to go ahead and let you know that Echelon, they want me to they sent me this nice blanket, guys. It is fur. It feels so good. It's so soft and cuddly. And the link to this is in my description box below. So if they sell diffusers, um, backpacks, um, I think they have little seats. They have different little things that you can buy. If you want to check them out, the link is in my description box below. And if you want to purchase something, all you have to do is click the link and put in daily tips, and you will receive 10% off your purchase, all because of me. So make sure you guys, if you want this comfy blanket, go get it. It is the link is my description box. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure you guys, if you want to join, before I forget, because I never promote it, if you guys want to be a part of the MJ&J family membership, the link in my description box below is a very reasonable price. If you want to be a part of our family, uh, be a part of our family. Okay. Um, Thank you guys once again for coming. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for part two. And y'all get y'all a blanket, okay? But anyway, have a wonderful night. Um, Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I come out with a video. And y'all have a good night. I know I said this several times, but good night. And make sure and know that guys, I'm always be thankful and grateful today and every day. Okay, today and every day. Be thankful and grateful. So have a good one, guys. If I can end the stream. Oh my God. So now it's acting crazy. Jesus. Oh, Jesus. On the main line, tell me what's wrong. Y'all, hit this computer. There you go. Y'all, my computer won't let me end the broadcast, so I'm sorry. Just allow me a moment.